Okay, I've got sound now, and I am going to work to. Now, I guess if I go to my main screen, it's not going to work again, so I'm going to have to copy it over.
I don't know. You got your
Yeah, see if I go to the main
that's the
screen.
pay grade. Still
Oh,
can't hear.
I think they can. I think they can hear me now.
Here,
Yeah.
let me tell. I'll tell you
Good now,
now.
it says good
Good
now.
now. All right, good now. There you are.
Okay. Okay, Farm Dog. Let's do a little exercise. I'm going to have Eric say a sentence, and I'm going to have Adam say a sentence. Make sure all of us are audible. All right, go ahead, Eric.
Welcome to Coins and Coffee.
And Adam.
We're gonna grade some coins today.
Okay. Want to make sure that everyone can hear all of us, and then we'll get started. We've got this weird thing going on in YouTube that I don't understand why, but when you go into a stream, everybody shows up as their registered username, not as their alias.
Um,
Yeah, I noticed it was starting to do that, which is
Frostbite
weird.
read an article on the YouTube forums that if YouTube did it to stop cloning,
Really?
Oh.
yeah, because you
So
can't clone these names.
this is something that won't be
This is
fixed?
a onesie. Yeah, it's not permanent according to them. They're trying to find a way to link because you can. There's other, say that let's say PJ's Auto Detailing. There can be 10 channels named PJ's Auto Detailing,
Right, because
and
that's an
it may be
alias.
different. Right,
And these are your actual usernames.
right.
Okay. Well, here we are, and I think everybody can hear us. Got Arizona Coins, Dirty Water, Farm Dog. Uh, Newbie Coin Nerd is actually Dan McCumber. One Mighty Mouse is James Valley. There's Kevin Hawthorne. He can hear me. Um, that's about it. So I welcome you guys, and we're going to start.
Adam and Eric need to be louder.
Adam and Eric need to be louder. Okay. Um, I think I can do that in the control room, right?
Well, here, maybe I can do
No,
that.
I've got it.
And my
Okay, how about that? Eric, sound test.
test, test, test. Oh, we got Brian Allen in the house.
Test, test, test.
Yep, you're loud now. Mark Thomas.
Okay, so everybody can hear you. And okay, so I am going to go back. Hey, Mark Thomas. Brad Anderson is here too. You said Brian Allen was in?
Yep, regular dude.
I don't. Oh, there he is. Okay, I see him now. What's up? What's up? What's up? Okay, so here we go. We're going to start grading these coins right here. Yeah, that's a live image of a coin. And we're going to discuss this one first. Um, we'll look at the obverse, we'll look at the reverse, and then we'll start talking about grade because when you're grading coins, you actually have to grade it using both sides of the coin. So there's the obverse for a good quick look, and then we'll move it over to the reverse for a good quick look. Okay. So you guys can see that real clearly.
Is there a way to make it big?
Make it big.
Like make it big, then go back out? Like
Um,
like a
the only way
Go
to sort of.
All right, hang on a second. Let me copy this sound over because this program is stupid. Wait a minute. I don't know how to do that. We got to come back
Sound
out
is
here
back.
because this
Whatever you did, the sound is back. And here is Frosty.
yeah, it's when I'm on the main screen showing all of
Maybe
us.
we'll have to leave it on this.
Yeah.
The way it's set up now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have sound, but when I go over to just my dyno cam, it doesn't pick up the sound at all.
Yeah.
So, all right, so here we are back. Let's see here if I can. There, how about that? I think everybody can hear me now.
I can hear you.
Yeah, everybody should be able to hear me. Um, no, I've got Frosty here. Um, let's see. I'd have to add him. Hang on. Hmm. I guess the way to do this is to take me out and put Frosty in.
Uh-oh.
What's up?
Nothing. I'm just seeing the OBS icon popping up.
Oh, that's because that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Uh, let's see.
Hey Chuck, you don't need to put me in here. You can leave me down. It's okay.
Ooh.
People are more concerned about seeing you.
Are you sure of that? I was looking for an excuse, but you took it away from me.
Yeah, reverberation too.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, he's
Okay.
echoing hard.
All right. So Mark says the same thing that you say, Adam. That the reverse brings the whole coin down. Okay, so it does. I'm going to put it in a maybe pile because I still like the obverse enough to want to grade it. Let's
I
try.
would think that coin would be a 66 to 67.
It'd probably be a 66.
Yeah.
Well, like we were talking about earlier, when you get the 66s and 67s back, a lot of times, do you agree with it all the time, Adam?
No.
You look at it and go, that 67's a 66 and that 66 is a 67.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the time.
Right. That's what I'm thinking. Okay, so this is a different coin. This one obviously has a lot of really tiny flecks on it. But if you go over to PCGS CoinFacts and start looking at 67 pictures, all you're really concerned with is the amount of luster the coin has, not necessarily these little tiny flecks, because I don't think they count in the grade.
This was a test coin. I've seen this coin before.
This one? Yeah,
Yeah.
I brought this coin up before we started broadcasting.
Yep.
So what do we think?
This coin's got problems. It's got a
Problems.
rub on the shoulder, a rub on the bow tie, and a rub on the cheek.
Yep. Yeah, I could really see it on that shoulder right there for sure. It's a big old.
Yeah, right on the edge of the bow tie too. There's like a spot where it's like hit or smeared or something.
Okay.
Um,
And then the cheek. There's a hit right on the top of the cheek too, it looks like.
I'm looking for a way to get that
there's
to show
also a
up.
mark out in front of the field right there.
Oh
That
yeah,
looks like hair.
above.
Maybe a hair?
It's above the
Hair.
5.
Oh, there's a mark. There's a scuff right there.
Yeah. Right above the 59.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right in the middle.
right out in front of his mouth.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll flip it over to the reverse
If you
just
want a
to.
high grade, you got to get the field's got to be really nice. Because if it's
Okay.
not, it's not gonna.
Now, I'll have to explain to you what I was doing. I was going through a couple of rolls of what I had called gem coins quite a while ago, and I was pulling out the ones that I thought should grade without looking at. I had my glasses on, but I didn't have a loop to them, so I was just going through the roll or rolls and pulled out the coins I thought could grade. It's still a 65 gem, even if
Sure.
it's not a gradable coin. So this one is going to stay in the gem pile and will not go to NGC. What about this?
Are there some carbon spots on the face there?
That might be. Is it on the eye? Is that what I see there? Or no, that's a reflection. That's like a deep
Okay,
Oh, okay.
socket.
what you have is rub.
Oh, that's rub. Roll, stacking rub, right?
Yeah,
What that is?
yeah, on the jaw, the back of the cheek, and the middle of the forehead.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's stacking rub. They call it stacking rub.
There's something else running down his shoulder. It looks like stacking rub again.
Yeah. See, that sometimes kind of throws me because the coin can look really nice, but you have just those small rub marks.
Yep.
And
Look at the bottom of the steps on this one. That's about as perfect as you can get for steps on a 59.
Yeah.
he's got a nice strike.
Yeah.
It's a great strike in the reverse.
Okay, well, this one will get knocked out for the little spots of rub. You think that's enough to not get a 66?
You know, I've gotten 66s with roll rub
With
before.
worse coins than that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I think it's possible it could still get a 66.
Okay, well, let me do this. Let me bring up CoinFacts and we can discuss the decision to send or decision not to based on what we see in PCGS CoinFacts. Now you go to PCGS CoinFacts here. Let me turn on my
Time with
hang
these
on.
coins, so if they see something that
There we
impresses
go.
them, and it's human nature.
We've got
Our first impression is usually correct.
we've got sound again.
So, uh,
But I mean,
you
you can
know,
see there's a little carbon. Oops,
there was a lot of
Oh,
them.
oops. Here,
A lot of
let me do
blemishes.
it this way.
The coin is actually toned a little bit.
a little bit. It's got some nice iridescent
It
tone.
does. It does.
But see, this is a 68, folks. The little marks
So
on the
there's a
shoulder.
little mark right there. Yeah, yeah.
The reason this got 68 at PCGS is because it has very flashy, even luster.
Yep.
Luster,
It actually, it's a beautiful looking coin.
Luster is
Got
going to
some
be a
nice
large
color,
part.
too.
It's
Yeah.
got some red toning on it, and it's got some dark toning on it.
I mean, there's a half dozen black
Oh, it
spots
gets
on
a
this.
little bump in the eye appeal category there, so.
Well, look at the line above E Ascent.
E of Scent. Oh,
Yeah, go back down to the bottom part of the reverse.
yeah, that.
There's a big old line.
Yeah. And then something here, something
Little
there,
carbon
something there,
spots,
something
yeah.
there. I mean, there's little carbon spots all over this coin. Now, this is a
Dings through the
68
roof. Dings. There's dings in the roof. Big dings, actually.
right there. There's another one. I mean, these things are kind of huge when it comes to grading a coin. But you can see the roof line is all marred up. And this is a 68, folks.
Yeah, and that's a late die state too, or later die state at the
Yeah.
obverse.
Yeah. Well, I don't think die state makes any difference to them. Actually,
Well, it affects eye appeal sometimes.
well, it would affect it positively in most cases because
You think so? Okay.
yeah, because
Okay.
luster actually develops with die wear.
With the flow, all right. I'm good with that.
Yeah. So, I mean, this one's a mid to late die state obverse and a mid die state reverse. But let's get beyond this and
Yep.
go over to. Let's go over to. Come on, quit. More images. And let's look at their 67s. Below a 67 plus. Here's a 67. And again, we've got little marks and stuff all over this coin. There's a streak mark right there under the ICA.
Yeah.
This one's got a big carbon spot inside the C.
And a big gap. Actually, that's a die clash between the E and the C, isn't it? Or is it at a big gouge?
Okay, you're looking at a different coin. Yeah, you're a few seconds behind what I'm doing.
Sorry.
It's okay. I just had to get used to it, figure out where you were.
I'm trying to look at the bigger picture. The bigger picture's on my other monitor, and it's 2 seconds behind.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's see. Another 67 here. This is another 67.
That's pretty, though. That's got some sweet toning on it.
Yeah, but you got carbon everywhere.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Do you think that they would even grade that coin red? I bet you that coin has been graded a long time.
I've had problems getting coins like this to grade solid red.
Yeah, it either comes back brown or it comes back questionable.
I had a coin that was nearly perfect. It was a 1944D. I couldn't find a mark on the coin. I mean, no matter how hard I looked, I couldn't find anything wrong with it. I was sure it was going to get a 68. It got a 67 red brown. So now from this, if I go back to this and we're looking at this coin again, you get it back in focus here. Okay, so what do we think when we look at it like this? Because we've already seen what they give a 67 to at PCGS.
Well, a lot of those coins probably, like I said before, have potential. But to honestly, that's what there's no way to keep track though, unless you photograph some spots.
Oh, actually, my point was going to be during this show to photograph the ones we decide to grade. I was going to do a screen capture of them. This is being recorded. So this show is being recorded. We can go back and watch the show again and pick coins out one for one.
Yeah, because it would be interesting. Like I said before, when we get the bulk submissions back that we've gotten back in the past, we haven't been, I mean, the 67s that come back, to me, aren't the best coins.
Not always.
It's subjective, you know? It obviously was to them.
Yeah.
So,
Ant, I don't know what that last word is in your sentence. What is an EXERGUE?
That's the location underneath the device. So the exergue is like if you look at the device in reverse, it's going to be between the device and that um, the device and then the model. It's that field down below called the exergue. Obverse 65, reverse 67. I don't think he's wrong.
Well, where it comes to grading, most people actually aren't wrong
That's right.
because grading is a subjective opinion. But I'm trying to get as close to the subjective opinion of the graders at NGC as I can.
I would say that coin will come back. That stripe on the reverse,
Yeah,
might hold it back to a 65. But the coin is so well struck, and look at that. That's just beautiful luster besides the line.
right.
Uh,
So let's call it a 66 and submit it.
you might get it. Like I say, I think most of these coins would get 66.
Well, it's got a shot at a 66. For sure.
Okay, so let's go back over to PCGS CoinFacts, and instead of going into photos, let's go back to the price guide itself, which is right down here. Now there's your grades, 66, 66 plus, and 67. These are actual auction prices realized for these different grades. PCGS up top, NGC down below, and they haven't really recorded a lot in quite a while. But this is 2014. That's what the date is. 11/14 is when that was sold. And so a 66, you're looking at $13 to $21 average there. I think if you throw out the outliers, the average is going to be about $14.
Yeah.
And if you throw out the outliers up above, that's PCGS, so that doesn't even count. The other way to actually look at this and figure out what you're doing is to look it up on eBay and see if there are any recent sales. Because for in a lot of cases, PCGS CoinFacts is a good indicator, but it's old because most of the pricing that you're looking at is at least 3 to 5 years old.
Yeah, I don't think that the new owner has even been doing that anymore. I think it's just there.
Okay. Well, see, so the most recent 67 for NGC was in 2023. The rest were 21 and 22. And we're looking at you throughout the outliers, throughout an 84, throughout the 180, and your average is going to be probably 110, 115. So we're talking about a $14 coin or a $115 coin based on 66 or 67.
Right.
Yep.
Now, the all-in cost in bulk grading, when you bulk grade, you have to grade 100 coins or more. They all have to be the same series, and they should be roughly the same grade. And you call a minimum grade, and the highest minimum grade you can call is a 66. So you can tell them, I want to submit these 225 coins because it's more than 100, and I want a minimum grade of 66. You can't min grade the color. If they want to call it a red brown, they'll call it a red brown and still charge you for the grade.
Right.
But at 66, that's the lowest grade. The rest, they will reject, put them in a tube, and send them back to you in a tube. So the cost all in on each coin when you do a bulk submission to NGC is about $10 when you include shipping and insurance for the return. It's $125 for the return. So you're at about $10 per coin. Is it worth, and is there a market for the 66s enough to submit what we think would be a 66 coin and be able to get maybe a $14 bill back out of it? I don't know. Maybe a $14 bill.
I would personally.
Yeah.
I would say I would limit 10 in your inventory for something like that because. But then, how many 67s are you going to get if you only throw 10 coins at them?
Right. So
that
you have to throw at least 100 for bulk anyway.
No, but they can be mixed.
Oh, I've got
Yeah.
600 coins already. I'm just talking about.
And that's my point is how many 66 59Ds do you need? Because you're going to sit on them forever.
How many do I need? 0.
Well, I've had over 154 S's in 66. Right?
Yeah, and how many do you still have?
A lot.
How many 67s did you get on that?
What?
How many 67s did you get in that?
7 or 8, I think.
Was this NGC or PCGS?
NGC.
Did you get any 68s?
No, I haven't. I haven't. The only 60 I've ever gotten with NGC in a bulk submission was well, besides memorials, but it was actually a memorial. It was a 1976, I think, and
Come back.
it was like a $4,000 coin in a PCGS 68. Right?
So was this a mint set coin?
No, it was roll. It was out of a roll.
Wow, that's nice.
Mm-hmm.
That's something else for sure. Let me go back and read the comments just a little bit. Random statement. A 15D 1DO001 in MS64 red brown on great collections right now. Cherry picking great collections. So the difference in price from 66 to 67 in this particular case for a 1959D, 66 red would be about a $15 coin. A 67 red is going to be about a $150 coin. So about 10 times. So what do we think about this one?
Small. I got Mark behind me here.
I knew you'd both start at the exact same time.
Yeah, we gouge right in the neck.
Let's do Adam first.
I don't like the mark under the ear. The fields are relatively decent. This would get a 66 red. Just looking at the offers. YouTube's a little behind, so I was waiting for it to turn over. It's easier to see it on here.
Well, when you see it on here, your voice is going to be recorded with it, and it'll come out at the same time as I flip. So you don't have to wait for YouTube.
Oh, there we go. Oh, that reverse is beautiful.
Isn't it?
Oh yeah, that's an easy 67 reverse by far. Yeah. So I think it's got a shot at least a 66, maybe a 66 plus.
I have
maybe a 67. The reverse could push it to a 67.
I have very, very rarely ever, and I've submitted over 1,500 coins in bulk, and I have very rarely ever gotten a plus. And I have never received a star.
5 of them, 5 pluses, 67 pluses.
Yeah, we got one. The last.
I got two 60D large dates in 66 plus.
Yeah.
And
you got a 67 star in one of them.
I didn't get a star. I never have.
Oh, I thought you did.
I think if I'm not mistaken, a plus is an addition to the grade, and a star just means that grade plus exceptional eye appeal. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So if a coin is beautifully toned and they have to grade it red-brown, then it's going to go red-brown, but they're going to give you a nice hit for the eye appeal and put a star on the slab.
Yeah, but no, like I said, all subjective, and it's the same with like cameos. Like maybe you get one side with a cameo and one without the cameo. Sometimes they'll give it a star for that also.
Okay. My thought on this coin, it's a gradable coin, and the reason is because that mark on his neck doesn't really show up when you just glance at the coin, and you should be able to grade a coin within a couple of seconds of grabbing it. And they don't spend any more time than that on them. Of course, they look at coins all day, every day, but I don't think that's even really going to be a noticeable mark that will detract from the grade. The obverse is relatively clean otherwise, and
it does have a dent in the field
in front of the forehead.
Yes, it does. Well, it's also got a little mark above the 9 in the field. It's got, a few little marks
Also
here
got a
and there.
little mark on his upper cheek there.
Yes,
Yeah.
it does. It's almost directly in line with the one in his hair, on his
Yeah.
neck.
And I think the field marks, like the dents in the scrapes in the fields, hold a little bit more weight.
Yes,
Oh yeah.
much more.
Actually, the field marks hurt the coin, I think, a lot more because there's nothing to hide it. There's no hair to hide it. It's flat.
No
So,
topography.
Yeah.
That's a hit on the neck, DC. That straight line, that angled straight line pointing toward 2 o'clock. That's a hit.
Another coin wedges in there. They throw the bag in there and throw another bag on top of it, and bang.
Right? Yeah. I mean, these coins came out of what would be typical 1959 rolls. So expect some stuff. But I think this one should go in.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay?
Yeah. Definitely.
That's our
And,
second coin.
it's always good to throw a leaner in there. I don't think that one is. That reverse is outstanding.
Adam, talk to me.
Oh, we got another coin here. I think this one, it looks really good. I'm waiting for it to kind of focus there. There we go. Yeah, I got it on the YouTube now. This one, wow. Very nice. Very nice. 66, 67 easy on the offers.
Okay. Let me flip it over and let you see the reverse.
Okay.
Let me get that sheen off of it.
I like the reverse. Looks good. I mean, there's a couple little carbon spots.
Is that a struck through by the E and C of cent? A light?
Yeah. There's a little grease, yeah. Seems like a little grease between the E and the C. There's a little mark above that U of pluribus, though. But
Yeah.
I don't think
It's nice.
that it would be detrimental to knock it out of a 66. It's definitely a 66, right?
Okay. So Ant sees the mark above the U. So does DC. No, obverse of 65 plus, I don't think so. I think this is much better than a 65. It does have what looks like a hit, like a wheel mark below trust. It's got a big gouge in the rim I didn't notice.
Yeah, it does have the rim ding. That actually is something that will detract.
Yeah, it will.
Oh, yeah. Now I see it. Oh, yeah. Okay, now I can see that. So that's why it's always important to rotate the coin when you're looking at it.
There's a big hit on the nose.
Because if you don't rotate it, you might not see some of those other marks. And that right there could knock it down.
Well, that big hit on the nose will too, maybe.
Yeah. Oh, Lord, yes.
Yeah.
But you didn't see it when it was the other way.
Yeah.
Well, we couldn't see it when it was straight ahead, but now we can see it all better because it's been turned. So
Lincoln in his teen years.
Right?
All right, let's put
I just
that.
put up a bad dad joke. I'm not going to tell.
Let's put that in the bumper pile, and we'll
It's
throw.
okay, they can't hear me anyway.
We'll throw another one in the mill.
it's still a 65 red though for sure.
Okay. Well, this one does have a little bit of a ding on the luster altogether. It's not quite as bright as some of these other coins. That's something you can't really see. It doesn't really translate well through video.
This one.
But as far as detracting marks and stuff, the only thing we've got are just the little dark flecks. I don't see any hits, any.
A little bit on the bust, just a little bit of
Oh,
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
A. Yeah. Little mark below the eye.
You see a mark below the eye?
If you turn it again, you can see it right kind of,
On the cheek?
yeah,
Okay. You can see it like that right there?
yeah.
Okay. There's also one in the middle of his forehead, straight above it.
But that's how these graders can be, though. They really will nitpick certain coins if they think, oh well, we don't, I don't want to give it this grade. I think it's so usually it's the final grader, the
Finalizer?
usually I think they can kind of nitpick a little bit because I've noticed if I do like I don't know if you guys notice when you do your bulk and they'll have like the individual invoices and then you'll see like where
Additional
they
invoices.
got rid of it like they said not gradable or didn't meet grade standard or whatever.
Right.
The
Yeah.
minimum grade, yeah.
Or there'll
Yeah,
be
they-
ones that you get back on their own invoice that's a 66. I'm like, damn, they called that a 67, then they knocked it back. Yeah.
Exactly. Because it'll be on the 67 invoice, but it'll
Right.
say 66.
Yeah.
So that's how you can kind of tell that the finalizer. So they originally graded it a 67, but then the finalizer came in and said, I don't think that's quite a 67, and they knocked it back a grade. So happens.
Okay. I'm going to try to get the light to play with this so it's really easy to see everything.
This one's got a lot of weakness on the steps. In the middle.
I think what they're really looking at on that, though, is the bottom few steps to see if it's been struck all the way. I think the weakness comes with the design, because the middle of the steps always come out mushy.
Kind of mushy.
Is there a little ring between the 1 and the O and the N?
There is, but it's tiny. Yeah, it's there though. There you go. How did I get that to shine? It's not real big, but it is there.
Well, I would say this one we looked at, it's pretty good. I think 66 red on that one. It's nice. It doesn't have any really distracting marks. It's the fields are relatively clean.
There's a
I think
hit.
it's fine.
There's a hit on the rim after the date.
Yeah, and that's another thing people forget to grade is the rim because that's the third side of the coin. A lot of people don't think, if you have a big old mark on the rim, but the rest of the coin looks beautiful, it's still going to knock it down.
Okay, so, all right, this one is a very bright coin. It's a really nice one. So let's go ahead and grade this one. So this will be our third graded coin. Here's another one. Another different coin.
Now, are you doing just all 59Ds, or you got other?
That's what I've got
dates and stuff?
for today. Just 59
Okay.
Ds.
Yeah, I think he's got almost you got almost 100 or 150 all set, don't you? From the last shows?
Oh no, I've got over 200 already done. I've got almost 250. Actually close to 250 coins to send in. What do we think about this one, Adam?
There's just a couple tiny carbon spots, but nothing that I would think that would knock it down. I'm not seeing a whole lot of distracting marks. There might be a little mark right there maybe on his chin.
Maybe on his nose.
Yeah,
Okay.
a little bit on his nose.
Close to the front of the jaw. And this one also has that stacking rub issue.
Yeah.
Oh, yep, I see it right there. Yeah.
But it's very small, almost insignificant.
Yeah, back behind the eye, up on the jaw, and then back of the jaw.
When you tilted it just the right angle
Yep,
under
you see
light,
it perfect right there.
yeah, they show up like black spots. So another one that I notice is on the back of the collar.
Yep. And on the tip of the shoulder.
But the back of the collar, it's kind of a sizable slide mark. There you go. Just like that, you can see it.
Yeah.
But I think we're nitpicking at 100 times. Most of these will not be noticed. What'll be noticed more than anything else is going to be that little pit above the 5.9 of the date in the field. That's one of the first things that'll be noticed.
Well, that's what they'll see, because they'll be flipping that coin around and that'll deter the reflection or the luster. You'll see a big old dent in it.
And then there will be that dot above the E in Liberty. Frosty says looks better than the last coin. Ant says this is a 65 plus. Here's the reverse.
I believe it's 66. In my opinion, the obverse is at least a 66. I want to see what that reverse looks like first. Oh, there it is. I'm looking at the YouTube one.
The reverse is excellent.
Yeah.
It looks nice.
Yeah, the reverse looks good.
Yeah, got a little bit rim ding under the end.
Yeah, couple little rim hits, but
I think that's the nicest reverse so far, except for the rim ding.
Yeah. All right, this one will definitely be a grader.
Yeah,
I think this one could be a 67.
could get a 67. Could be one of the ones in the batch that they're like, oh, this one looks nicer than the others. So
They're like, yeah, he's going to pay for 20 coins, and this one's really nice, so we'll give him this one. They call them gift grades. All right, what do we think here?
oh, let's see here. Ooh, so this one's got a little bit more issues. Looks like some more carbon areas behind the coat under Liberty. And then you got a little bit of a mark right there on his jacket.
On the shoulder?
Shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that.
It looks like it might have a pretty good gash on the cheek too. Where
Yeah.
it goes in out.
Yeah.
Mark said send it for that last coin. So when Mark
Yeah,
says
I
send
think
it,
so
that means
too.
it's really good.
This one, I think, is probably 65 red on the offers.
Even with that luster?
The luster's really nice. Let's see how the reverse looks.
Okay.
Couple little carbon spots on the bottom of the reverse.
Yeah.
Not much though. It's actually pretty nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's decent.
There's
It's not bad.
hit right on column 6, up above
Oh
the
yeah,
statue.
Yeah.
Six.
Yeah.
But stuff like that isn't always going to be noticed.
No.
They're going to see the black, and they're going to see carbon, and they're going to see rim hits more than anything else. Lower obverse rim hurts this one, he says. Yeah. It's got a couple of little stars down there when you're looking at the rim under light.
Yeah. Yeah, I would honestly say it's 65 plus.
So don't send this one.
Hold this one back.
Okay. I'm going to put it in a maybe pile because I like it.
Adam?
Yeah, see how many you get out of the whole batch.
Right.
Like I said, how many do you want to send to just 59Ds?
As many as it takes to get a few 67s.
I agree. I agree.
How much are 67s going for, you said?
Over 150. Yeah, about 150.
I got the NGC site up right now.
Okay. Okay, Adam.
All right, next one.
This is the same die pair as another one because it's got that die scratch going southwest from the top of the D. The top of the that's the second one I've seen.
And that's another thing I have noticed. If you get multiple, let's say I've noticed like if I get multiples of the same die pair, and let's say that die pair seems to be really nice.
Yeah.
It seems like all the other coins in the same die pair are just almost just as nice.
Right.
In the roll.
Absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Even when you got old rolls that have staining on it, it seems like different die pairs have more staining, and then you'll get a die pair that'll look good.
Yeah.
Because planchets are washed at different times and stuff like that. So.
This one's got a couple marks on the shoulder.
A couple rim dings by Liberty.
Yep. Yeah, those are
nice
kind of. Yeah, it's decent. It's not bad.
Got a little gouge on the collar, but I don't think anybody will see it because it's almost on the line.
Yeah.
The collar.
Yeah.
66 red on this one, on the uppers.
Okay.
It's a nice one.
All right.
And points out a mark above the eyebrow.
Maybe a little rub.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Nice.
There you go. This die had a great reverse the last coin we saw with it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This one's a great reverse too. This does have that ding on the column 6 though. Got a ding on column 12 too. That might not be a ding. I can't see it real good. That might actually be like die chipping on column 12.
A little mark on the E ascent. Nothing. What's that next to the C? Is that like a little lamination?
Yeah, there is a die chip out there, but that is a mark.
Yep, there's a mark out there right there too. I see it.
Okay, what were you asking about, Adam?
C of cent. What's next? What's the left side of the C on cent?
That's a black spot.
No, cent, not America.
It's
no, that's a black spot.
Oh, all
okay,
right.
it's like a carbon spot.
Yeah.
I think a 66 red all the way, both sides.
Okay. We'll put it in the maybe pile. Here's another one. You also, you got to remember that I was looking through these coins with glasses on, no loop. I wasn't magnifying them at all. I was mainly
probably looked through about 1,000 coins too, so.
Yeah, I was mainly looking for cleanliness and luster. It's like that one's got a larger hit on the shoulder.
Yeah, this is one of my least favorite obverses so far.
Yes, this one automatically with that deep mark on the shoulder, it's not going to get higher than a 65.
Okay.
And it's got a lot of just unsightly marks on the coin itself.
Yeah.
And there's the reverse. Doesn't get much better.
Of course. These coins all have stunning reverses. I've noticed that. They're all great.
No, what I mean is the reverse on this one's not much better than the obverse.
Oh. Yeah. It's all right. I'm looking at Facebook or at YouTube, so I'm just right now.
The same.
Yeah, we should be looking directly at my basically at my. Let me do this.
That's the thing, and I think the picture's a little clearer on YouTube versus.
Let
I don't know if it's just
So
see.
you guys, real quick, you do know if you go to the right-hand side, the top right picture, and you click the little box, you can make it big, right?
There we go.
All right, smarty.
I'm looking.
I don't know what you guys are
I'm
talking
looking
about.
to see if I can actually maximize my screen inside the Video Ninja so they can look at it, maximize there.
Now, why is it kind of a little blurry though? Is that
It is.
pixelated?
In comparison to YouTube, it is blurry. YouTube is really sharp.
Probably because of the DPI it's carrying, the resolution.
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't see
YouTube is a way cleaner image.
picture-in-picture full window. No, that didn't change anything.
You're on a full window on YouTube already. What we're looking at on the video is the same as what YouTube is showing right now.
Right, because it's been on the same thing for a while.
Well, we were seeing this plus all of our screens.
Okay.
Now I'm just seeing this screen, so now it's the same.
You know what's funny? Your Eric and Chuck's screens are a little blurrier, but me and Frostbite's are actually pretty. I wonder if it's like something with the video quality or something on that.
That one is going in the pull it out pile.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely do not grade that. There's a
This one?
65 on the reverse too, so.
That's one that we should see in the coin game.
The coin game.
This one's not bad. It's got some spots in the field. Little toning. Nope, that's never mind. That's lighting.
Yeah, a couple carbon spots, a little mark on the shoulder,
Little rub on the cheek.
a little bit.
Is it just me, or does this one not quite have the same amount of luster?
It doesn't. It's a little darker too. It
A
seems.
little toned down, yeah.
Now the luster is real flashy on this, as it is on most of the others. There's some of those.
This has got one of those white
Yeah, milk.
spots under.
Call it a milk spot. Is what we
Yeah,
generally
milk
call
spot
those.
under R. Try what we were talking about without just take a Q-tip. I'm wondering if this is just moisture. I mean, I don't think. I'm curious to see because
Is that xylene?
No,
nothing. It's
nothing.
nothing. That is actually water.
Wow.
I've had that, and if that coin would have sat for another year, it would have had a little green spot,
Start
little
turning green.
white
Yeah.
mushroom growing on it.
Yeah, for sure. EERC 1856. I am not sure who you are. These username things. This is got me frustrated because I don't know what to do regarding our
Coin collecting with
sheets.
Rick Snow.
What?
Coin collecting with Rick Snow.
Rick Snow. Is it Rick?
Yeah.
That's Rick. Well, hey, buddy. I haven't talked to Rick Snow in years.
Say hi, Rick.
Hi, Rick. All right, what do we got there? Ah, absolutely, Rick Snow.
So he should be blue.
He should be, yeah. What's up, my brother? Let's see. There we go. I'm
And if you're
Agent.
not subscribed to that channel, go subscribe to Rick.
Is that a little strike through on the A of states there? Or is that like a thread maybe?
I think it's a thread.
Well, I'm subscribed now.
Yeah, that's just a thread.
Okay. Little carbon spot next to the memorial there.
You're talking about the left base?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe a little, looks like a little chatter between the E and the C ascent.
I'm seeing a mark above the E, but nothing between E and C ascent.
Okay, that's
Those
what
are-
I'm seeing. Yeah.
Yeah, those are die lines. Looks like concentric lathe lines running underneath one and cent.
Couple marks on the steps there.
You are right about that. You can see those best like this.
Luster's beautiful.
Yeah.
Nice luster.
This is overall a really nice
I'd say
coin.
it's 66 red easy for sure.
Okay.
It's a nice coin.
Well, we will send this one in. At least get a 6 on it, right? We'll try a couple of more coins, and then we're gonna start calling it an end for the show today.
Now that one.
Lots of carbon spot on this one.
Seriously?
Yeah, I don't see any. This one is like, it's got a little rim in under the L.
Never mind, I'm looking at the other one. Hold on. Okay, this one looks good. Yeah.
And this one, to me, it's got a little hit on the shoulder.
Little hit on the shoulder.
Little hit on the nose.
Just below the cheek and the eye.
It's got a little hit on the nose too. The tip.
Yeah, a little bit of
Yeah.
stacking rub. You can see that on the upper.
There's a couple dings on the 7 and 8 o'clock on the rib.
Yeah.
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 I'm trying to keep my fat fingers out of the way.
That might make it grade better.
It's a nice, it's a nice looking coin.
It's a nice coin though.
Yeah,
the
if you
luster is gorgeous.
yeah,
It's very nice.
if you could see the luster on this thing, I mean, it's just really excellent. Let's look at the reverse.
It's got a chance of a 67 on the offers.
This is the weakest strike so far as far as the steps go.
Yep. We only got about 2/3 of a bottom step.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In my opinion and experience, that's the killer. The steps on the early memorials are killers. Not so much on 59, but you get into 61, 62, 63, and it's a definite killer.
Yeah, they just didn't.
Yeah.
Especially 83. I don't think any 83s came with steps.
At least it's a different design. By 64, but they used this design up to 68, didn't they? The reverse?
I'm not sure about the reverse. I know they changed it a few times.
I know that 63, 64, it's getting pretty mushy in the middle.
Rick says that this one could get struck out because of the mark on the shoulder.
That shoulder's got a big hit on it.
Yeah.
Same with the nose. The nose has actually got a pretty substantial hit on the tip.
Yeah. Right there. So what say you?
Though, it's a beautiful coin. It's not.
I think it's a grader. It probably come back a 6, but it's a grader.
Yeah.
I think it would.
All right. So we're going to grade that one.
You know what's funny about this is you see something and then somebody points something else out.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you can see.
And that goes to the point of subjective.
Yeah.
What a grader sees might not be what you see. That's why I always say when we get these back, I always go, how could this be a 66? And then I look at the 67s and I go, how could this be a 67? And I point out all this stuff.
Yeah. There's coins that don't deserve the 67. You're like, that might be a 67.
No.
This one's got a big scratch mark running through the ear. Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, I'd have to go with a nope on this one too.
Yeah. It's right there in the middle of the middle of the 7. It's just.
So, ladies and gentlemen, part 2 of this show will be coins we do not want to admit.
Right.
Here's example number 1.
Like carbon flex. Not bad. Actually, great.
This one doesn't have quite the luster.
Yeah, but it has no nicks either. But you're right. I see no luster.
Well, other than the jawline right below the ear, the face is basically perfect.
Looks like a couple minor ones on the shoulder too by the rim.
Yep.
But
there's 3 down there on the bottom of the shoulder, and there's a couple on the top of the collar, right below the shirt collar. And you got 3.
Yeah, but the luster, you're right. The luster is really toned down on this one.
Yeah, I think this might have been a roll ender. Well, let's flip it over and see if it
Probably.
measures up on the reverse. I got a number of little dark spots. I think that's a little scratch under the E of states. Man, I just don't see much on this.
Just a couple carbon spots. I don't see a whole lot on the reverse there.
Hello, Angie. Yeah, we've got.
I still think it's shot at a 66, though. I don't. Even if the luster is a little toned down on the obverse, I still think it's got a chance.
Just sending a common coin in, Brandon, and getting a 63, 64, 65, that's what we're talking about. It's a waste of money. This is bulk grading, and it allows people to get good quality common date coins for a fair price.
Oh, yeah, that's Brad Anderson.
Yeah. So that he was asking why, from a devil's advocate standpoint, you never grade common coins.
So that one is going into. That one is not. Definitely not. The 5 is basically chopped in half.
No, yeah, that's too detrimental. That could even sometimes I've seen them not graded, just call it damage.
That was easy. Okay, here's another one.
Definitely nice looking coin.
There we go. The luster on some of these is so bright, it's hard to knock the luster out for the image.
Yeah, you got a hit on the nose and a hit on the lower lapel on that one. Besides that, it's pretty good.
Yeah, and the shoulder's got quite a bit of chatter, though. Yeah. I don't really like that.
Yep.
I don't like that because I really do think it'll affect the grade. I don't think it'll get higher than a 65. Just because of the chatter.
All right.
Yeah, but that's why he's pointing out 66s and 67s. He's trying not to send anything in. There, that would be body bagged.
That's not going in. Crap, that was a nice obverse.
What was wrong with the reverse? I haven't looked at it yet.
It's got huge wheel marks on it.
It had poo-poo on it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yep. That will not straight grade. And that's another thing that I think people forget to check for is roller marks. Including myself. I've gotten coins back that I couldn't see that roller mark until after they graded it and they said wheel mark on it. I'm like, what? And then I look at it, I'm like, oh my god, it's got a nasty wheel mark across it.
What is that in the ear? Is that like a die crack?
In the ear?
Yeah. Nothing. Never mind. It was just a reflection.
Okay. Yeah, what I'm looking at is someone tried to
gouge on his neck.
Yeah, someone tried to behead him through his neck.
Yeah.
Yeah, and with that being in the center of the coin, that's going to affect it. So I would say 65 on this one.
And actually, there is something in his ear.
It's like a is it a gouge maybe or?
It's called wax.
Nice scratch.
Yeah, scratch.
What do we have over here?
Oh, it looks like a pretty nice reverse. Little gouge in by E pluribus.
Yeah.
That would be detrimental because that's one of the first parts. I mean, that was part of the coin I looked at.
On the reverse, actually, what really catches their eye is the lower field and the steps.
Yeah. Well, when I take my pictures, if you see how I take my photographs, that's where I always start my photographs at is the right or the left cornice. Then I go around clockwise.
Right.
So it's habit for me to look at a coin like that. That's where I start looking.
Mark Shields wants me to turn up the volume overall. I think I have a master volume control.
And I've been leaning back, so I will try to get closer to the mic. I've literally been 4 feet from my mic.
You can lean back a little bit again because I've just turned the master gain up. Tell me if that helped.
Yeah, I wouldn't send this one either, Mark. That gouge on the neck is kind of tough.
Did we look at the reverse on this one?
Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah.
Is this the one that Well, see in the reverse.
Pluribus, yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly, when I'm doing my bull, like my bull pre-screen, I'll reject coins like that because I know that they could be kind of strict on that.
Well,
kind
that's
of
a
stuff.
big one in the field. That's what I'm saying. That it caught my eye right away because that's where I actually start looking at a coin at. So that's another thing. You don't know. Everybody looks at coins different. When you look at Chuck when he's doing reveals, he does the coins a total. He does them different. He comes up, goes up to the eye, goes over and across and back around. And even when he does photographs, he goes in a different direction usually.
All right. This one's got a long but small mark running all the way across the cheek.
Yes, Angie, I won the competition.
Why do you think he's on my show? Yeah.
This one, a couple marks on the face.
It's got a mark, some sort of. It could be.
Oh, is that like a real mark or maybe like a
woody or an anomaly, like a
Yeah, that's a planchet. That's a planchet lamination.
Okay.
You can see them over by
Goes up
Liberty
through
as
the
well.
nose, too.
Yeah.
See it up through the nose.
So how would something like that affect the grade?
I don't think it does.
It's not supposed to. It's not supposed to.
If they recognize what it is, right? Are they supposed to look that close at it?
Yeah, see, like this one, you got a die chip in the B.
Yep.
The lower B is popped out.
I like this one though. 66. Easy. Maybe even higher on the
Oh.
Oh, the reverse.
Oh.
That's how it always is. You're like looking at I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
that's a beautiful offer.
These coins had spectacular reverses too.
Last
It's
time,
actually a nice reverse, except for the big,
carbon
black blob in the room.
last time we did this show, I think we ran into a perfect 70S and then flipped it over.
In that big old spot on the neck.
Oh, the cheek.
Yeah, I got a big gouge on the cheek and
And the cheek on
Under
the
the
back
ear.
of the jawline's got a black spot in the throat.
Special Forces knife fight right there.
But man, look
Yeah, I
look
don't
at
like this one.
look at the luster. I mean, this
Nice.
sucker is a beautiful
Luster's
coin.
nice.
Watch, it'll have a perfect reverse. Look at that.
No.
Oh, you know how it goes.
Yeah, all right. Got a lot of hits on the columns.
Yep. Got a black spot on column 4. A few little black spots here and there.
I was just playing Murphy.
Yeah, exactly.
You get a perfect coin and you turn it over and it's
It's got a hit on the lower rim right at 6 o'clock. All right. Well, I think because of the
Obverse
yeah
holds it back.
marks on the obverse are going to keep me from sending this one in. All right. Next. Buttonhole has a dot on it.
It does.
Dot.
Under the B has the dot.
And dot below the B. But look at the head.
Wow.
One little stray mark on the jawline. I think that's a hair or something on his chin.
Little dot on the lapel.
Yeah.
Other than the carbon spots, I think this has a chance at as a 7 on the obverse.
Yeah, that was a little fiber sitting on his chin. Yeah, I'm totally
Yeah, I
agreeing
agree with
you.
that. 66 plus at least on the obverse.
Yeah, a nice point.
All right, let's flip this one over.
Mark, what are your stands that you make it think it's 64?
I think he's commenting on the previous coin.
Yeah, probably.
I was just wondering if he was seeing something that we hadn't.
This has got a couple of hits on the bottom steps. And
yeah, the reverse definitely is worse on this one.
Yeah.
Lots
Uh,
of
But in cases where you have a judgment to make based on one side or the other, the obverse really definitely takes weight.
carries the weight. Yeah, it carries the weight. I would say a 66 on this one, Chuck.
Yeah, I
think
would put this one through. It's not
Yeah.
bad.
All right, that's the next one going for grading. We now have 8 coins going in. We've got more than that staying out, so we're getting somewhere with this.
Big hit on the rim by the date.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big hit on the field under T of Trust. Plus a carbon spot between E and T.
Yeah.
Yep.
Looks like a gouge on the forehead.
Yep. It's got a gouge on the jawline too, and on the collar.
Is that a die scratch above the 9, or is that a mark above the 9?
Above the 9. I'm gonna go with die scratch.
On the last 9.
On the last 9.
Yeah, it looks like there's a mark.
Yeah,
it's a mark.
it's a mark.
Above the 9.
There you go.
I don't like this one. I don't.
Okay.
It's too much. There's too many distracting
Oh yeah. Well,
marks.
that big black spot right in the center of the reverse kind of tells me too. So, that one's gonna stay out. Ant is back to his shenanigans. I am glad Ant doesn't run a grading service. Nobody would ever get a 6 on a coin. Forget 7, 8, 9, or 70.
Got a
Well,
lot of carbon spots behind the head.
well, this one's got too long of a big scratch on the cheek and jaw, basically from the back of the nose through the jaw. It's also got a rub, pretty big rub mark on the cheek.
And this is the die pair. I think you're gonna flip this over, and it's gonna have the weak steps on the reverse.
Yep.
It was.
That's like possibly a 4 on this one on the obverse.
All right, that stays out. Next. Yes, Ant, you're way too tough. Your grades are.
That's good. You'll end up with good coins.
Yep. Your grades are at times overbearing. But
big black spot in the B of Liberty.
Yeah. Well, and I'm also looking at the fact that he's looking right at a bunch of carbon spots.
Yeah.
Probably.
Another good safety tip there. The field in front of the eyes has got to be the cleanest field.
Yeah, that's the focal point usually.
Yeah, that's the focal point of the obverse.
Yeah, and that mark between the E and the C in 1 cent kind of knocks this reverse out. Honestly, I don't think I even looked at the reverses on most of these.
That one on the floor.
Yeah. Well, it slid across the desk, so. All right, next. We're going to find a really good one.
We are. In this case, this has potential.
Yeah, it does. It's got that mark coming up to the eye. It's a.
I'm not even gonna.
Almost like a wheel mark, but it looks more like toning.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna hold that against it.
No, I won't either. Little tiny fleck below the S.
Yeah, very nice coin. 67.
It's got a rim hit next to the L in Liberty.
There's not a whole lot of. No, it's nice. Nice coin.
All right, well, let's flip it over and hope we don't see a giant mark on the back.
Yeah, it's got a mark.
Yeah. It's that field looks like somebody cut it with a knife.
Yeah, right by the E. Oh Lord, and above the N. Yeah. Darn, that was a good obverse there. That was, I think, the best obverse of the night, actually.
Yeah.
That could still carry a 6.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the offers is going to carry that grade, so.
We'll try it.
Yeah, the obverse is beauty.
Let's see what happens. I like that obverse. One more coin. Stacking rub on the cheek,
Yep.
the
Yeah.
jaw.
Looks like you might have a little hit in the jacket fold. No? Yeah? Yep.
It's got a little stacking rub mark on the lapel. And carbon behind the shoulder. Otherwise, really nice.
Six. Obverse is 6.
Yeah. Well, except for
One thing that's really helping these coins is the luster. The luster will keep the grade a little higher than what it would be. So. There's a little mark. Is that a mark next to the unum? Or is that a die scratch?
No, it's a mark.
Okay.
That right there?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was looking more at the N in cent.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, I see that too, yeah. Ugh, man.
I think this one's staying home.
I think so too.
Oops, almost put it in the wrong pile. All right. Last one, folks. Last one, then I've got a couple announcements to make, and we'll skip forward to the next show when this happens. Don't know when exactly.
Look, this one looks pretty good, but I bet you it has a weak reverse. It's got a hit in the R, though.
Well, look at the date and mint mark on this. That is nearly perfect for strike and luster and everything. This coin has very bright luster. It's got some stuff going on the forehead, stacking rub in the face.
It's got a R, though.
The R of Liberty.
Yeah, with the hit on the R, that's going to knock it back.
Yeah, the R of Liberty has been hit pretty hard.
And then
is there a little mark on his jaw there too? Yeah.
And this is that's a weak reverse. So
yeah,
this is going to be a weaker.
Weak should be a weak reverse. That's not too bad actually.
Yeah. This actually has a gradable reverse. But I think the obverse is going to knock this one down.
Look at that N on cent. You know, we've seen this before. I'm wondering if that is a hit or if there is something in the die above the N, because this is the second one that's had that same mark.
Third.
Yeah.
I don't know. Right, let me get my loop out and take a quick look at it under a loop. See what I see.
Well, Tilly, she's got food, huh?
That's definitely a scrape on the coin.
Okay. I just was curious because that was the same die pair, had basically the same gouge.
Yeah, this one's...
That obverse is going to hold it back. I don't think it's going to get higher than 65, so I would hold this one back.
Yeah, and he's looking right
at...
R
was pretty tough.
He's looking right at a ding out in the field.
On his chin.
Yeah.
Jaw.
All right, that one's staying home. And that is the last coin for the night. I want to thank you guys for coming on and doing this with me. It's been really fun. Helped me out, and I think it probably helped a lot of other people too. And this is something that we should probably be doing on a regular basis.
That would be cool, yeah.
But I would like to...
$66 or $67 came back $64.
Wow.
Okay, so I have a question. Did you submit these with the variety at the same time?
I did, but I did get 264.
Did get two 65s and six. I did get a 66, but the 66 is literally the worst coin in the roll.
Right.
It's got cauliflower blobs on it. It's dark gray. There's no luster. There's no nothing on it. They give it a 66.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
how much is this worth on a 64 red though?
$450.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
I want to talk to everybody for just a moment about something we're going to be starting tomorrow evening. It's a new show called Waffles with Syrup. And what it is going to be basically like a coin waffle, or like they do the bullion silver, where you have let's say you have an ounce of silver, everybody pays in $8 a piece. You got 10 people on a card, you go down the card, and somebody ends up winning it, and everyone else walks away empty-handed. Well, that's a waffle. This is kind of like a waffle, only I call it a waffle with syrup, because what you're going to do is pay in the value of something that I'm going to give you anyway. So you're buying something, and then there is a chance somebody could get something a lot higher, a lot nicer.
Nice.
So what this will be like, my very first one is going to be 10 examples, or 9 examples actually, of a 1955 PDS BU set. So you get 1955 in Choice BU, 55D in Choice BU, and 55S in Choice BU. So you're going to get those automatically when you play in. But one person is going to get a unwrapped, sealed roll of 1955 plain Lincoln cents. One person. So the buy-in on that's going to be $10. And so you're either just barely overpaying for the 55 set, or you're way underpaying for the original roll of 55s. And that is the premise to this. I'm going to be doing 5, 6, 7 games. It's going to be kind of like a roll reveal show where we shotgun blast and everybody says what they want. The first 10 people are in, and that's all we can do, because these cards, on 10 person cards, it's these right here. And what you do is you write the names in the 10 different blocks, and then you peel down the stripe on the left-hand side, and that tells you who the winner is. So one person gets the big prize, and everybody else gets whatever they purchased. Here is that big prize for the first one. It's a 1955 Philadelphia roll. And so I want to invite you guys, 7 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, right here on the Copper Coins channel. And I guess that's all I've got. I appreciate it, folks. Thanks everybody for being here. I got a couple of reveals to do during the day tomorrow, and then we'll do that other show. Adam, what you got going on?
I'm getting ready to go on vacation on Monday.
Woohoo! I like vacation. So
what coins are you going to do?
No, it's actually not for coins. I'm going to actual vacation in Miami. So.
In Miami. You're not going to be too far away from the fun show, you know.
Be like, hey, I'm going to leave for a whole day. Don't worry.
Yeah, right. Well, what we oh, you like my shirt? My it's Missouri, and it says Dark Side of the Mississippi. That's my home state.
Chuck, I dropped the link in for tomorrow.
Okay, all right, I appreciate that. Thanks, Frosty.
Chuck, are you going to St. Charles?
Am I going to St. Charles? Yes. I'm going to be going up. It's the weekend after the fun show in Orlando, so we're going to do the fun show in Orlando, and then Mickey and I are going over to Bradenton to pick up some stuff, and then we're driving straight up to Illinois to spend a couple of days in Illinois before we show up at the show. Robbie is going to be our guest, our host. I'm sorry. So, yeah, we're. Are you going to be there too?
Yes.
Okay.
At the St. Charles. Yep.
There we go. We'll have to do dinner one night. I'm watching everybody to be sure. We're going to be staying in the same place that we did last time.
Oh, I think it was True.
I don't remember what it's called. But Farm Dog saw Robbie today. Must have been Collinsville show, or Was there a Collinsville show, or was it the flea market over in Bellevue? Might have been the flea market in Bellevue. No?
Show.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, folks. Thanks a lot. We're going to go ahead and break this off so everybody can get back to their own lives. I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great one. All right. We have stopped streaming. I appreciate it.